Hello, my name is Marina Zhambylovna. Welcome to Linguistic College. And today let's talk about women's problems in society. The main objectives of the lesson: to main practice in speech activities, listening, reading, speaking, and writing, to teach students to express their own opinion, to analyze other people's sayings, to develop and test students' listening skills and speaking abilities, to develop students' cognitive interests and critical thinking, to develop mentality, initiative, and carrying out foreign speech. And let's discuss brainstorming questions. What comes to mind when you hear the word woman? What are women best at? What is the most annoying thing about women? Women play a very vital role in human progress and have a significant place in the society. They are not at all inferior to men. They are capable of sharing all the responsibilities of life. Men and women have been rightly compared to the wheels of the same carriage. From International Encyclopedia of the Social Behavioral Sciences, women's role is essentially defined in the terms of altruism and self-sacrifice to support men in their positions of high authority and to care for the family. Women's problems in the modern society are present in almost every field of human activities: health, education, domestic life, career, human rights. Partially or completely, these problems exist in every corner of the world. Millions of women face these challenges every day. Education opportunities are not equal for males and females. Girls who get a proper education, for example, play more active roles in their communities, earn money, and bring up healthier children. This leads to poverty reduction, actually. However, the reality is a little bit more disappointing. Limited access to education is a major women's problem in present society nowadays. There are countries in the world where girls do not get a quality education. There are about 80 states worldwide where progress on girls' education has halted. These countries are not meeting the educational goals set for girls. Only 6 countries give women equal legal work rights as men. The World Bank's recent Women, Business and Law report measured gender discrimination in 187 countries. It found that only Belgium, Denmark, France, Latvia, Luxembourg, and Sweden scored full marks on 8 indicators, from receiving a pension to freedom of movement, influencing economic decisions women make during their careers. A typical economy only gives women 3/4 of the rights of men in the measured areas. Women's role in parenting and marriage. Despite the increase in women in the labor force since the mid-1900s, traditional gender roles are still prevalent in American society. Men and women are expected to put their educational and career goals on hold in order to raise a family, while their husbands become primary breadwinners. However, some women choose to work and also fulfill a perceived gender role of cleaning the house and caring for children. Women's rights violations. The fact that women have less access to healthcare and education is a terrible violation of women's rights. The wage gap, no work after marriage, domestic violence, and harassment make the image more horrible. To a large extent, women face rights violation everywhere and every day. The glass ceiling is the well-known phrase that women have been trying to break through for years. It is a general attempt for gender equality, mainly in the workforce. To be frank, a lot has been achieved in this sphere. It is no longer unusual for women to run business and big corporations. They also hold top titles in management in traditional male-dominated aspects. However, regardless of all the progress that has been achieved, sexism and harassment still make an appearance both in the streets and workplace. Gender racism. Gender racism is a form of the oppression that occurs due to race and gender. Racism functions as a way to distinguish races as inferior and superior to one another. Sexism is defined as prejudice, stereotyping, or discrimination on the basis of sex. Gender racism differs in that it pertains specifically to racial and ethnic understanding of masculinity and femininity, as well along gendered forms of race and ethnic discrimination. Let's discuss the next questions. How would the world be different if all leaders were women? Who are the greatest women in your country's history? What do women like and dislike about being women? Joseph Conrad said, being a woman is a terribly difficult task, since it consists principally in dealing with men. What does this statement mean? Do you agree with it or not? Are women equal to men? Who is the greatest woman you know? Why do women like fashion so much? Are women from your culture luckier than women from other cultures? What common characteristics do all women share? Someone once said, women get the last word in every argument. Anything a man says after that is the beginning of a new argument. Do you agree with this statement? If yes, why? If no, why? And your home task is to write an essay after watching the next video. Thank you for your attention. Bye.
One of the biggest challenges for working women is finding a work-life balance. That's according to research by the Thomson Reuters Foundation and the Rockefeller Foundation.
1/3 of women say that they've been harassed at work, but largely do not report it.
What is really interesting for me is that the gender pay gap, that is to say the fact that they are much less paid than men, is the main issue for women in the US, in France, in Germany, in the UK, and in many other countries.
Nearly half of G20 women think that they don't have the same career potential as men.
This is why we did the poll, because you have a lot of statistics about women working, about their house, about their qualifications, etc. But it doesn't tell you how they feel at work.
We remember that violent rape on the bus in India in 2012, and since then, social media in India are all ablaze with the discussion. Bollywood stars speak out, and there's a lot of public policy changes. So you see, of all the G20 countries, women in India have the highest percentage of reporting harassment.
What new light will your report shed?
If you take a country like South Africa, okay, the gender gap and the pay gap between men and women is higher than in most countries. But the women don't feel at all this. 51% of the South African women at work think that they have the same opportunities as men. What it means is that perception makes you feel differently.
In India or in Turkey or in Saudi Arabia, women totally accept the pay gap because they feel it's not worth fighting for equality of pay because it's not within their grasp.
Salaire égal à travail égal, ça fait longtemps, par exemple, qu'au Canada, aux États-Unis.
Oui, on est loin du compte, mais en même temps, on a fait des énormes progrès.